watched the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show in 1964, and both of us immediately wanted to keep guitars, which is a very common story. Mm. And so that was when I was 5, and then when we were 8, we got these matching, very cheap Sears Silvertone acoustic guitars. And then when I was 15, I always wanted to play guitar, and when I was 15, I finally picked up that old Sears guitar and was strong enough to play it, and that's when I really started playing guitar. So now that means I'm closing in on 50 years of playing.
Jeez.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
My band, the band I was playing in at the time, was recording a CD, and so I would write the lyrics and the melodies to some of the jams, but a lot of them they wanted to keep instrumental. About halfway through our recording of our CD, one of them said, "Why don't you just record your own CD?" Because I had all these songs I wanted to do, and I was like, "Yeah, I guess I should do that. That probably is what I should do." And here we are, 9 years later. I'm almost finished. It's going to have 16 songs. It takes a long time because I have to be able to afford to go in the studio. I have to afford to pay people because I pay everybody as best as I can. Mm. And so it's taken me a long time. This guitar is an Epiphone Granada, and it's from the 1960s. And when I saw it on the wall of the place I bought it, it had this big honking pickguard with this one pickup. And I played it, and there's something about old instruments, old guitars, they have this sort of alive feeling that you can't really, because wood ages, and you can't really, in a lot of ways, get that feeling with a brand new guitar. The number one thing I like about soul music, what used to be called soul music these days, sometimes people call it neo-soul or just R&B, is, but the soul music thing and the neo-soul thing implies going back a little bit to an older style. And what I like about it, first of all, is the vocals. The singers in R&B and soul music are incredible at expressing things. Other thing is, the chords, a lot of the chords that you hear in that music come from gospel music. And not that I'm no authority at all on gospel music, but I do love jazz chords, and so I use those kinds of chords, or I make up my own chords. And it's just a sort of a broader harmonic palette than, say, some simple like rock and roll. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I can love a song that has 3 chords, but there's something about the harmonies the chords that I like in this music. And also, there's a focus obviously on rhythm and bass. The bass, electric bass guitar is like an important voice in this music. So it's not just plunking along and playing the root notes, it's playing an interesting little pattern. And so one thing I really love doing, I'm not a bass player, but I love writing bass parts and then giving it to a real bass player who then takes it and makes it more interesting. Mm-hmm. The thing that I am trying to do is create this music using mostly actual instruments. And in soul music, that is not as popular these days. But I do look back to the days where, for example, Aretha Franklin played piano and would start a song by creating a piano part. That's what the CD is based on, the idea of trying to do soul music. I've loved playing in bands, playing this music, and when I'm doing the CD, I get people I've either played with or have appreciated to come in and do the vocals, play some bass, maybe play the drums. I do as much as I can at home, and just on the prehistoric GarageBand, I record stuff and then I bring it to the studio. But the reality is in order to record cleanly, I have to pay these wonderful 2 guys that I've worked with to record in a professional way and make it really sound great. I'm also not tuned up. See, I have to stand here
You can tune.
This. Yeah. The interesting thing about me doing this myself is I don't have anybody editing me, which is dangerous. Warren and Mark, the two different engineers I've recorded with, are great musicians, producers, and so they have made suggestions, but basically I just call all the shots, and that is really great. But that means that with all my weird flaws and as a writer and musician, it's just going to be what it's going to be.
Cool.
To do something different at the end.
Yeah, it's just a couple of spots we can punch in. That's the string. The string's beating. Is this digital piano?
No.
This is a real piano.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the piano we did out here.
Yeah.
It's our piano. Yeah. So it's not gonna be.
When do you think it's going to be done?
It's got to be done this summer. By the end of the summer. I've said that for the last 3 years in a row, probably.
I know, that's why I asked.
Yeah. I can't keep doing it. I've got to get it done, and I'm very close. So if I just get the right people lined up for the last few songs, it's a cast of thousands, or really probably maybe close to 50 people, different people on it. And that's part of the idea behind the CD. Because I played with the same two guys in this rhythm section for 22 years, which was great. We had great chemistry. But I wanted to experience having other people involved in the CD. It's kind of like the joke from, when you get to be my age, people go out and buy a red Corvette or something like that. So this is kind of like my red Corvette. I'm just putting some money into it. Maybe I'll make it back, probably not. So.
It's a great line. That'll go in for sure. Sister midlife crisis, is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
or an investment?
Exactly. Yeah.